Now, you might have heard that Bitbucket recently launched support for Atlassian Connect that allows third-party vendors to build new add-ons that actually directly integrate with the Bitbucket UI. For example, you see over here on the left, I've got a couple of different add-ons installed. Awesome Graphs that shows you some statistics about your repository, and aerobatic hosting that actually allows you to expose your repository as a static HTML5 site. Now, at a high level, the way that this integration works is that it renders iframes that are securely signed in the Bitbucket UI, and that targets a third-party service where you're hosting your add-on. So, for example, you can see that this iframe is targeting bitbucketgraphs.herokuapp.com. Now, what you might not be aware of is that you can actually build support for add-ons yourself. If you go to the add-ons UI, you can see some of the third-party integrators that we're showcasing. But if you go to the Manage Add-ons screen, there's this little option here that lets you install an add-on from a URL. And this can be any add-on that you've built yourself. Now, you might be wondering which parts of the Bitbucket UI are actually able to be plugged into. So I've built a little add-on called Location, Location, Location that will show this to you. Now, it's available at powlocation3.herokuapp.com. And what it is it's a big JSON blob which has plugin modules or add-on modules for every available location inside the user interface. So if we take this descriptor JSON, go to our add-on screen, and hit Manage Add-ons, and then Install Add-on from URL, which needs to be our SSL for security reasons, of course. Hit Install. Then it will actually install a personal add-on for our repository. So if I pop back to say the Atlassian JGet Flow repository, we'll now see that we've got these links on the left-hand side that are being rendered by that add-on. So it's actually also rendered this web panel just here on the repository overview screen. So now if we click on one of these links, it's actually going to open up the link target and give us some information about the module that's being rendered. So for example, here we can see that this is an add-on module called repo page, and it lives in the org.bitbucket.repository.actions location. And additionally, it's going to render the context parameters that are available for that particular repository location. So you can use these context parameters to pass information to your Bitbucket add-on via the URL. So if we pop back over to our descriptor and we look for that repo page, we can see that this is the little entry that's being used to render that module. So you can see here we've got some tokens that are being passed in, and those are being substituted at runtime for the appropriate values. So if we pop back, we can see that there are two different types of module available in this left-hand actions menu. We've got a link, which actually links right out to the third-party application. And then we also have what we call a repo page view that isn't just a link, but actually renders the Bitbucket Chrome around an iframe provided by your third-party module. So this gives you a much more integrated with Bitbucket feel. Similarly, we have locations on the commits page. So if we click into a particular commit, you can see up in the right-hand corner, we have a couple of different modules that are available. These are just, they're called web items. They're links out to that third-party service, and you can pass through the context commit. So you could potentially take some action. For example, a deployment add-on might deploy this commit to a third-party service. We have similar modules on the branches and pull request pages. So if we go to the branches page, check out master, I've got those two little links here. And of course, you can pass through the branch name as well there. And on the pull request page, we have a similar location in that top right-hand corner, which we call the pull request summary area. That again, you can pass through the context pull request ID to the remote service. And then they can obviously call back into the REST API to grab more information about that pull request and take some action on it. Now, this add-on, location, is a personal add-on. So when you install it, these links will show up in the Bitbucket UI for any repository that you browse to, but other users browsing to your repositories won't see it. So it's really just a useful little development tool for you to use yourself. So I hope this has been useful for you, and I look forward to seeing the kind of Bitbucket add-ons that you come up with.